NBA. I don't see that. Make an NBA. But I did see in his little interview, he was talking about like whenever he was growing up, it was showing him back in his crib back in the day with his music, all his setup and everything, and he was talking about, man, I just he fell off like getting into sports and stuff because he was focusing on his music so much, and then he was like, all those guys you see on NBA and stuff, he's like, how do they get so good? Because they're sitting there going in the gym. He's like, that's how I need to go in on my album, as if like I wake up, I got my schedule, I gotta have everything going and be focused, just like as if you were training for a big game.
Anything in life you're trying to pursue a greatness in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, try to work on it, and
perfect it. Even if you can't be perfect. You just try to keep working at it.
Right.
One thing, like when it comes to like like developing or perfecting like a craft, like rapping and stuff, like what we're talking about here, is like, I don't want to like completely transform it into what we were talking about earlier, but like it's the same idea, but it's just a different world. So like, I'm gonna bring up Resident Evil real quick, and the fact that like it's known for like a jump scare game and stuff, right? Well, like nowadays on Resident Evil type of games, people are more aware to expect the jumps and to expect those scares and stuff. So it's harder for those game companies to do good games that like really surprise you and stuff. But not to continue to keep talking about that, but it goes into the same thing into the music world, like what we're talking about with rappers and stuff, and things continuing to change. Where it's like we're expecting, like we know who J. Cole is, so we're expecting KOD. We're expecting all these you go on and on.
For Your Eyes Only.
So we're expecting all these things. So like we hear this album, and me and Logan were talking about it earlier. It's like right now, fresh on my mind, this album is better than his most recent album, KOD. But that's only because I've been listening to this album heavy right now. If I go back and listen to the KOD album right now, or one of his other albums, I'm going to be like, maybe the newest album wasn't the best. But it's like, it's because we know J. Cole. We expect things. Lil Wayne comes out with an album. We don't expect it to be like fucking President Carter. We don't expect it to be like that shit. You know what I'm saying? You guys get my concept here? It's like things are growing.
Always ever evolving.
Elevate it to the next level.
You can go all the way back into the day with like rock bands and Beatles and all the music in general. Things grow and it's just harder,
Led Zeppelin,
Hey,
2,
and on that note, I mean, you and I, Vince, were talking about just like how growing up in different situations, how you're molded is comes up later on in life. How it's how you walk today, and no one can mimic you because they haven't been in your shoes. So I was just thinking, also applying that to sports, and I was like, in my head thinking about like trying to be the best. I understand trying to be the best and making a name, but it's like there will never ever be the best because there's always going to be someone else with their own stats that aren't the same as theirs, but are
different eras, different styles.
Time, different everything. So really, I feel like it's all about like just bettering yourself. At that point, if anything, just getting your experiences in, and leaving your own legacy by what you're doing as that experience.
You can't compare yourself to someone else's. Because you don't even know what they even went through to get to that point.
I just told someone that, man. He was like, oh, I look at all these people. They got, they got this and that. It makes me feel like a bum. I said, well, what about someone who's dirt poor? You think they look at you and think they're a bum? It's like, that's an endless cycle of just
perspective.
Shame. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? You can't just do that. And that ties into the music. What Mike and I were saying, like how I was 3 years ago, I listened to KOD. It made me feel a certain type of way. But a certain line in this new album doesn't make me feel that same way because it's how I was back 3 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
That's the thing about music. It's just, it always changes to what you're feeling. You could be doing great, listen to an album, be like, it's not my favorite. Or you could be going through some shit.
And when you have a memory, sometimes you don't get the exact facts down in a memory, but what you do remember is the vibe.
Yeah.
You know, you'll always remember that feeling. You know, whenever that happened, wow, you know. And
that's
what was
like
your
Kid Cudi.
Yeah, what was your ringtone forever? The prayer, man. Listening to that song, it takes me back to hanging out at your house, mom's house, like in our freshman year, man. It just takes me back to that.
See, dude,
I don't know, just certain songs like you hear, like,
boom,
I'm back there.
My ringtone was "Embrace the Martian."
Embrace the Martian, embrace the Martian.
Wake up, wake up.
Oh, Juicy J, get up, bitch, get up, bitch, get up, bitch, get up.
That's high school.
Yeah, but fuck, dude.
Cody's still not up. You go over to the house, the song's blaring. You gotta smack him in the mouth.
Hey, did you see how I edited?